Bright installations, bold performances, provocative pictures, and painted walls. Art has long been living in the new era and formation. Ask questions, be surprised, experience new sensations, and set off on an exciting journey through the world of contemporary art with Modern Art Program. Today in the program, Old Fairy Tale for New Spectators, Alexander Ugai's Topology of Image. In the workshop of Sekian Bikhtiyarov, Art Mikian and Mass Art, Interaction of Artists and Fashion Designers. The ancient epics are interconnected with the current realities, so modern stories are repeated, only we do not always notice it. This is the opinion of the art director of the theater, Bata. Veronika Nasalskaya decided to prove her theory by a graphic example. That's how an old fairy tale for the new spectator was realized, Yertostek Groove. The folk epic was modernized with rap battles and followers on Instagram. In this case, the action takes place under the traditional shanrak. Other features of the new production are multimedia effects and live music. At first, there was a history of musical performance where each episode of the epic sounds definitely created a special atmosphere. Moreover, we imagined that the very structure of the epic will be vertical, when the hero travels from the planetary level to another planetary level, overcoming certain obstacles. It somehow was very similar to our reality. According to the plot of the epic, the main character goes through a series of obstacles in search of his 8 brothers. Thanks to creative transformations, the theater creates the space of a new myth. In modern production, Batir Ertostek becomes a neo-nomad who integrates the aesthetics of the round nomadic space into the modern urban world of square forms. We wanted to create a yurt, but a yurt to the modern plan. We wanted to integrate this circle, which makes Shanrak, in the square forms of our modern city. The play consists of 8 parts. It involves 2 actors and a sound performer. According to the idea of the authors, the production transmits a simplified version of the ancient epic, where mytho-legems are presented in understandable images. The artistic director tried to make the play relatable to the audience of all ages. Aitz was replaced by rap battles. For example, the wife of Ertostek, Kinjike, and the daughter of the witch, Bektori, compete in the art of the rap.
Ертосик отказывает быть вторым и остается верным своей невесте Кинжике, потому что у него комплексы. Иногда мне кажется, что люди, которых мы любим, играют с нами в морской бой.
Song of Shal Kalkurik is created in cabernet style. A journey through the underworld looks like a computer game. Another episode parodies a scene from Star Wars. Modernity is closely intertwined with myths and legends, and it does not prevent to see and understand the folk wisdom that appears in every scene of the play. We see the stars of Instagram, who are in fact the same heroes of the epic. We see a lot of projections in the modern world, and here we have laid our play in such a way that each episode represents some archetype of the modern epic. Music plays a special role in the play. It took a few rare sounds and voices to convey the atmosphere of that time and to interpret the play in a modern way. On the stage of the theater, they were reproduced by a sound engineer, Vyacheslav Istafiev, who impeccably plays 10 musical instruments. One of them is a unique electric dombra which the guitar master, Vyacheslav Kachanov, created specially for the project. You can use each musical instrument as a voice, that is, it conveys the character of certain scenes. Sometimes it sounds like a certain hero. Sometimes it creates an atmosphere, something like an audio landscape. No matter how modern the world is, its foundation is still an epic that has absorbed the wisdom of its ancestors. The authors of the production of Ertostek Groove were able to convey this idea to a wide variety of spectators. Foreign tours inspired the creative team of the theater Bata to create such successful performances in Kazakhstan. Participation in prestigious festivals and premieres in other countries are in the plans for this year. The interaction of history, today's reality, and the future is of interest to the artist, Alexander Ugai. Memory is one of the basic concepts on which he builds his creative research. Streams of time, collective and personal space. Nostalgia, how are they related? The personal exhibition of Alexander Ugay in Almaty should give answers to these questions. Look yourself. Okay, you can look from the other side too. The theme of the exhibition is topology of the image. This is connected with the concept of topology as continuity, i.e. continuity is spatial and temporary. In principle, in our case, we are faced with the continuity of the memory register. For the Kazakhstan conceptualist, this is the first personal exhibition in Central Asia, although his works have been exhibited in New York, Paris, Istanbul, and Moscow. Preparation began long before the opening of the exposition. Ugay began his work on a thematic series of objects a few years ago in Poland. As a result, the exhibition presented works from the late 1990s through 2018. It's not just pictures, photos, but also art objects. An artist works in a fairly wide media range. It can be either video or film. It can be picture. It can be an object. It can be a sound installation. It can be a performance.
Фотография, это может быть объект, это может быть саунд-инсталляция, это может быть перформанс.
Whatever form the work takes, the plan remains the same. The main thing is to fully convey the atmosphere of what is depicted. The artist puts feelings in his canvases, causing a virtually tactile reaction among connoisseurs of art. Peculiarity of the artist, I think, is that he works very hard with memory, with archives. For him, it is very important how a collective memory is layered on top of a personal memory, and he is very interested in understanding it. Working with memory and nostalgia inspired Alexander Ugay to create a whole series of art objects. Obscuratins, as the artist himself called them, function like cameras obscura. In the original, it is a light-proof box with a small hole and a screen on the opposite side. Alexander transformed it so that the camera becomes removable and shooting subjects simultaneously, forming a vicious circle. This is a symbol of continuity. Obscuratins are optical objects. Since I, in principle, have been working with photography for a long time, I really love this medium. Some of the pictures make me so anxious, and somehow I want to see it more closely, to consider it. The exhibition presents other works related to collective memory and events from history. Photo and video projects cause strong emotions in viewers. At this moment, the connection between the past and the present is most clearly traced. These are photographs taken by the prisoners of the Karlog, and here not even the pictures themselves are presented, but their reverse side, on which we can read the messages people wrote, how they signed those photos. This was a painful work, but so far, so unexpected. In the works of Alexander Ugay, everything is complicated, both the technique of execution and the meaning that the artist invests in them. But it was this complexity that made him one of the most sought-after masters in Central Asia, and a regular participant of the biennial around the world. Hello, welcome to the Art Incubator. This is a place I was eager to tell you about. Modern art is created here, in this space. Sakien Bikhtiyarov is an expressionist artist. He works in the genre of painting and graphics. 3 favorite themes: ballet, sport, and horses. In 2007, he participated in the festival, The Day of Contemporary Kazakhstan Art in London. Within the exhibition, works by Bikhtiyarov were presented in the Raphael Hall in the Victoria and Albert Museum. My recent exhibition was last year and it was called The Short Golden Age, Oil. This probably is already my 4th exhibition or the 5th one, which I spend under this theme, The Short Golden Age. This time I decided to touch upon the thing that makes our life happy, that is, our wealth, it's oil. What inspires you? If you were born as an artist, you are inspired by life itself. I already learned it so well that it comes out of me. Because this is our work, because the artist is a mirror that reflects life, so it is the inspiration that nourishes the image that reflects from the mirror, and the mirror that reflects life. What is your favorite work? In particular, here is the picture which was very important for me in the exhibition, The Short Golden Age, in search of a local beauty, where I painted a local girl. A person, a recognizable person, but she is in the image, the great picture of Van Riemeer, girl with a silver earring, where I realized the idea that all our girls, they all want to be European beauties. Do you have works that you do not sell? The artist must create a painting and give it to people. A singer cannot sing alone for himself. He is obliged to sing for people. It is in the nature of art. In the nature of the artist, once you created something, you give it to people. What does beauty mean to you? What is beauty for us, for Kazakhs, for Kazakh women, for our people? It seemed to me that this is very interesting, because I suddenly see that our beauty is in itself a finished, beautiful object that has been formed in our life and which has received amazing development. How do you cope with creative crises? I do not have creative crises. I have never encountered this. For the person of my profession, there is no crisis. Here you just work. Tired, you sleep, because in and itself, the desire to work is like, a motor that never turns off. In what mood do you work best? When I get enough sleep. A person should have a good night's sleep. You must be really hungry and sleep well. This is the main condition to create good work. Art spaces in the urban environment are created and developed according to their own rules. There is no single recipe for creating a creative environment. For example, the story Art Miken began with the fact that its creators decided to carry art to the masses. Clothing. T-shirts with prints of Kazakh artists' paintings became the first project, and it is quite successful. Yes, it was the flagship idea to convey the beauty and originality of the paintings of contemporary artists who live with us in the same city, breathe with us the same air. We had a great presentation, and then other artists also believed in us. When we already started to produce the next shirts, we already agreed with other artists, and the dialogue went on easier and faster. In practice, it turned out that art in the form of prints is in demand among connoisseurs of beauty. So in addition to T-shirts, the range of bags, pillows, and plates were produced. The artists supported the initiative. In this consumer attitude to creativity, they see certain advantages. The main idea was that when you make a print, it becomes very affordable for many people. Well, such an idea, art in the masses. Well, it is so twofold, because on the one hand, this art is in the masses. On the other hand, nevertheless, it remains an art. Kazakhstanis also enthusiastically accepted the original product. Items with a touch of contemporary art are of interest to buyers as souvenirs and decorations for the house. The authors of the idea plan to even release a collection of aprons with a picture of works of art. Soon, creativity will affect other objects of everyday life. We decided to release more eco bags to follow up an environmental theme. It is also one of our priorities. Bags of cotton with riddled posters of Kazakh film, of films that were shot in our country, on the same principle as our pictures, and rarity covers of second-hand rare books. The project, which began with prints, gradually evolved into a full-fledged gallery. Today, the art space cooperates with famous artists of Kazakhstan. Here you will see the works of Sakien Bektiarov, Gabo sisters, Saule Dusinbina, Konish, Bazar Galiev, and other masters. The paintings are also for sale. For those who are not sure of their choice, the authors have come up with an alternative. Often it is difficult to buy your first painting and remain pleased with your choice. And in this respect, posters are such a democratic option that will help a person to start forming his own collection, form his own taste, the way he would like to start collecting paintings.
Свой вкус, именно в каком ключе, да, он хотел бы начать коллекционировать работы.
In the near future, Art McKen plans to start cooperation with the Almaty Opera and Ballet Theatre and release posters of various productions. Thanks to such projects, Art Space has become a link between artists and spectators. Its mission is to destroy stereotypes that art exists only for creative people. Pictures in the form of prints are one of the favorite methods of fashion. At this enterprise for tailoring clothes, such orders are common. More and more often, Kazakhstan designers realize their ideas through drawing pictures on fabrics. The first project in the studio was the production of T-shirts depicting the works of contemporary artists for the space Art McKen. As the workers of the workshop admit, the most difficult thing is to convey the original palette of works of art. In many ways, a lot depends on the public's perception of the artist. It is possible that the color rendition may be slightly different. When the artist paints on canvas, he has his own vision of paint. And here it turns out, firstly, the electronic file, it looks on the screen one by one. When you print it on the fabric, each fabric has its own shade. It may look different. The most popular canvas for creativity are simple white T-shirts. At the request of designers, only a little change of style, from slim fit to more free options. Why do fashion designers prefer to create on this clothing? First of all, it does not divert attention from the very print. Second of all, it is a universal subject of the wardrobe. It is worn by almost everyone. T-shirts are solidary things. The price is formal so that people can afford it. It's just that from the handy tools I had butterflies. This is my favorite symbol, one of the favorite symbols. Butterflies are everywhere. This year, Kazakhstan designers prepared several projects at once in which art and fashion cooperate. They promise that each of them will be unique in its own way. First of all, artists work in a variety of genres, so the choice is great. Second of all, modern technologies allow experimenting with the technique of applying prints. This is a direct printing with a printer. Next, we often use silk screening, a special silk screen printing. Embroidery can be like a printing on a film of several types, and sometimes it is combined. Direct printing, for example, with embroidery also looks very cool. Art in all its forms often inspires designers. Sometimes they become artists for a while, and then exclusive works are born on the fabrics. Such paintings cannot be stored for centuries, but fashion designers do everything possible to make their works of art serve as long as possible. It's like painting and fashion design two in one. It turns out that these drawings, once they are applied to the fabric, they can be washed in a washing machine and they won't disappear. You need to know the technology, the correct application of paints on the fabric and consistency. That is, in addition to applying it, you need to fix it properly, so that the pattern won't be washed away from the fabric. Even more interesting are the results when the work is made by the artist and designer in one person. For example, the designer Mira Kerr draws from an early age. After graduating from art school and the Academy of Arts, she worked for several years as an artist. Later, she decided to transfer from art to fashion. Stylistics of Mira are abstractions with elements of ethnic motifs. The collection from the artist basically consists of clothes of simple cut. These are coats, cardigans, vests, and jackets of juicy colors. The main emphasis Mira makes on prints created based on her own paintings. Working on creating a collection, a canvas is being created, or I take some of my works. I'm working on a piece that I especially like, and thanks to the technologies that are helping now, I'm transferring my work by printing on a fabric. The print is pre-processed and prepared. Next, I fit it all under this template.
Предварительно он обрабатывается, готовится, а дальше я подгоняю все это под лекала.
Cooperation between art and fashion is always mutually beneficial. Designers scour inspiration in the works of artists, interpreting them in their own way or turning them into prints. Thus, millions of people touch masterpieces in beauty, even if they are not frequent guests in galleries and art spaces.